watching East Tennessee weather, powered by Rusty Wallace Automotive Group.
And good morning, 7 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning. A nice mild start to the day. Temperatures are above average, and that's going to continue the big thaw of 2024. As we head through the next several days, we're talking temperatures anywhere from 10 to 15, even 20 degrees above average for this time of year. And a nice sunrise taking shape, although the clouds have started to creep back into the area, and that's a sign of a changing weather pattern. That change is going to be heading our way as we head through the next several days. And heavy rain is going to settle on in later on this evening. We do have flood watches that have been extended all the way down from the southern Tennessee Valley into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and along the Gulf Coast. Quite a bit of dense fog across parts of the Great Plains and a little bit of wintry weather out there, but not a ton of wintry weather if you have travel plans across the country. You can see that big swath of moisture moving its way in from Texas through Louisiana into Mississippi and West Tennessee up into Kentucky and the Ohio Valley. Most of that's in the form of liquid precipitation, and that's going to be the case for us. So as we watch one round of rain come through later on this evening and during the overnight hours, making for a rather soggy start to our Thursday, another round of rain is going to be heading our way Thursday night into Friday, and we'll do it again Friday into Saturday as we track several disturbances, several waves of energy that's going to have a lot of moisture attached to it, and that's what's going to bring us the rounds of rain around East Tennessee. So it's 7:01 right now. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing this morning? Doing okay? Are the roads improving in your neighborhoods? I got a couple messages yesterday saying the ice is not going anywhere, but it will. It will, for sure. And, of course, the kids got called off of school. Some kids are going back to school here today, but hopefully you can get out of your neighborhoods because we should see some huge improvements over the next 24 hours. The snow should be gone by probably tomorrow night with the heaviest rain moving its way through overnight tonight. So we're going to be talking about that with your extended forecast. I do want to get everyone out the door here this morning and talk about the traffic here. Don't have any traffic issues, just looked at the T-Dot cameras, but this is what's going on right now at 40 and 275 near downtown Knoxville. Downtown Knoxville's on the left-hand side of your screen, and really just a nice quiet start. So volume of traffic is gradually increasing, and I think that's going to be the case, obviously. Usually around 7:30 to around 8 is usually the busiest part of the morning. So we'll continue to highlight that if we see any issues whatsoever. But let's talk about those weather headlines. So mostly cloudy, isolated showers throughout the day today. Can't rule that out. Remember, if you're joining us and you're new to Wake Up with Witcher, thanks for joining us this morning. You can watch on ROKU TV, Amazon Fire, or, of course, all social media platforms from YouTube to the website to the app. You can lay in bed and open up the app to get the latest Wake Up with Witcher and get you out the door. Maybe you're sleeping in a little extra this morning, but you can add to the conversation if you're on YouTube or both the Facebook pages, Mike Witcher TV and or the East Tennessee Weather Facebook page. So make sure you check that out. But what I was going to say is that we get to work with the forecast, and at the end we have a conversation. So if you want to be part of that conversation, please tune in. All right, so rounds of rain heading our way. Heavy rain sets in later on this evening and overnight tonight. Another round of rain Friday into Saturday. The flood threat increases as we progress through the week this week. And so when you look at the forecast, now I want you to keep in mind when we talk about probability of precipitation, yes, this doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't tell you intensity, duration, and or timing. So you always have to find out the latest future cast, the timing, what's the rest of the story. So let's talk about it because we still have quite a bit of snowpack on the ground, but notice how this is dwindling very, very slowly. Can you believe that, it's Wednesday? So we are now officially 8 days into our storm event, almost 9 really because it started Monday night, but snow is still on the ground. This is slowly fading away, and hopefully by tomorrow this will be a thing of the past and we won't have much snow on the ground. But because we have snowpack on the ground, the National Weather Service saying, hey, listen, we have about an inch to 2 inches of water equivalent in our snowpack right now. So that's like saying we had already received 2 inches of rain. So now the ground is saturated, and now here comes heavy rain. So through the day today and over the next 24 hours, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a level 1 and 2 risk for elevated flood risks around East Tennessee. That trend continues into tomorrow. And on into our Friday as well. So today, tomorrow, and Friday, we do have that elevated flood risk around town thanks to the snowpack and the heavy rain on the way. Temperature-wise, not bad. The valley locations in the 30s and 40s. The higher elevations, the plateau and the foothills and mountains, are actually a little bit warmer. We have an inversion taking place. What does that mean? It means actually, typically the air cools with height. The further away from Earth you get, the colder the air typically is. But an inversion means that it actually gets warmer to a certain level before it cools off. And so that's why foothills and the plateau are a little bit warmer this morning. Temperature trend, 24-hour temperature change, I should say. We are about 5 to 10 degrees warmer this morning, and really, it doesn't feel bad at all. I mean, especially compared to the Arctic air that we had in place. So no wind chill values out there to get the day started. Road temperatures are in the 40s, and so that's going to continue to help with the melting and the thawing of the snow and the ice that we still have in place. We do have had a few showers around the region, so not a lot of wet roads here locally, but maybe some wet roads down towards the Whitwell, Soddy Daisy, Dunlap area, Chattanooga area, but more wet roads if you have travel plans westbound on Interstate 40. Visibility is not a major player here this morning as well, so we don't have really any fog to contend with. So getting you out the door this morning, if this is all you need to know, we sure hope you have a wonderful and safe Wednesday. We start off with temps in the 30s. But look at this. Average highs for this time of year are in the mid to upper 40s. We're going to be in the low 50s by noon today. And that trend for warmer weather continues, which we'll highlight, of course, with your forecast highs and, of course, your 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for the Southern Valley. So Ray and Meigs, Monroe, McMinn County down into Bradley and Bradley counties. The Southern Valley, they talked about the fact that let's see what the afternoon shift, when the afternoon shift comes in, their shift work, right? And so when the afternoon shift comes in, they may reassess the situation, reassess the latest model guidance, and may expand that flood watch. And if they do, I'll post that on social media. But that goes into effect at 1 o'clock today, running through 7 o'clock tomorrow night. That's when some of the first round of the heaviest rain will fall. And we'll see what they do with the rest of the week as more rounds of rain head our way. So there's that flood risk once again here through the day today. We already highlighted that today, tomorrow, and Friday. We do have an elevated flood risk across the East Tennessee. And so let's pick up our future cast. Nothing going on this morning. So we'll pick up our timeline at noon today and run you through the evening commute and dinner time hours. And you'll notice that we'll have a few spotty showers. So we can't rule that out throughout the day, but the bulk of the rain doesn't come through until basically after sundown tonight. And so hopefully we can get home. Kids are going to school probably won't get too wet today. But look at the bulk of heavy rain by 7 o'clock tonight. It's going to be working on the plateau and the Southern Valley. So from Chattanooga to Dunlap, Pikeville, Crossville, Spring City, Rockwood, and Cleveland, Soddy Daisy area, you have a good chance of seeing some heavy rain as the sun goes down tonight. And that's going to continue to spill into the rest of East Tennessee during the overnight hours. Now, high temperatures today. How about this? Say goodbye to the Arctic air. Let's say hello to some tropical air. Well, it's going to feel tropical. Pull out the shorts, right? Temperature is going to be in the 50s and 60s today, so it's going to feel pretty nice. Really nice, actually, in my personal opinion, even though we're going to have the cloudier skies and a chance for a few spotty showers. If you have evening plans for the evening rush hour, 56, probably not a ton of rain by then. Between 7 and 9 o'clock, that's when the rain really starts to develop and push its way on through. So if you're heading up to work, you do overnight shift, keep in mind as you head on to work tonight, you'll probably have some heavy rain. If you're coming home from work later on this evening, heavy rain will continue to spill its way on in. So here's 8, 9, 10, midnight tonight. That's when the heaviest rain is going to settle on in. It's going to be a soggy and slow-going start to our Thursday morning, although it doesn't look like we'll have a whole lot of really heavy rain for the morning rush hour, but still some scattered showers and still some wet roads to get the day started. So just by sunrise tomorrow morning, many of us will pick up anywhere from about a third to nearly half an inch from Knox County up towards Tri-Cities. Along the I-40 corridor from Knox County over to Cumberland County in the Plateau, we could see anywhere from about a half an inch to over an inch of rain. And down the I-75 corridor, that's where we'll pick up the heaviest rain, and that's why we have that flood watch in place. We'll pick up anywhere from about a half an inch to over an inch, maybe pockets of 2 inches. And again, remember, the rain's not over yet. So let's continue our forecast and pick up our future cast with morning low temperatures. By the way, tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the 50s, so that's going to be nice. Through the day tomorrow, we start off with a few scattered showers. We may see a little bit of a lull tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, before more rain ramps back up tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. So kids heading home from school tomorrow, if they go to school, surely they'll go to school tomorrow. And as you head home from work, we're looking at another round of rain. So then, just by tomorrow night, so we have tonight, and then through the day tomorrow, we'll pick up, anywhere from an additional half an inch to over an inch of rain just through the day tomorrow. And so that's going to add up to about 3/4 of an inch up towards Tri-Cities, and again, over an inch to nearly 2 inches across the Southern Valley. High temperatures tomorrow are going to be trending at nearly 20 degrees above average. Average highs again in the mid to upper 40s. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s tomorrow. How about that? So you need the boats or the shorts. Probably not the sunscreen, though, because, well, the sun angle's low still because it's wintertime. And we're going to have the clouds and the rain in place. So no sunscreen necessary tomorrow. I kind of kid. All right, 3-day forecast, 58 today, 66 tomorrow, 63 degrees on into our Friday. So warm to round out the week. And then you add Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to the mix, and look at the rainfall forecast. I mean, we're talking anywhere from upwards of 2 inches, Knox County to Tri-Cities, 2 to 3 inches across the Southern Valley, and that's why we do have the flood risk all the way through the end of the week. All right, so on the big picture, if anybody has travel plans, here's the setup. Big southerly fetch of moisture that's just going to continue to feed Gulf moisture into the area with disturbances swinging on through. So on the big picture, if you have travel plans, there's that flood risk today. We are in a level 3 flood risk down into southern Mississippi and Louisiana. So flooding and flash flooding is going to be a big concern down there. That flood risk shifts a little bit further to the east throughout the day tomorrow, but that keeps us in that flood risk. From Atlanta to Birmingham, Montgomery, Alabama. And we'll continue that flood risk again on into our Friday. And this is per, again, the Weather Prediction Center. So when you look at the big picture future cast, noon today, low pressure, cold front to our west. Look at this just fetch of moisture. That's going to feed its way through. The frontal boundary never really pushes all the way through East Tennessee for the next couple of days. Eventually it will, and that will draw in some cooler air as we get into our Sunday, Monday, Tuesday timeframe. And yes, some of you have been asking on social media, do we have the threat for some snow as we get into Sunday, Monday? And the answer is yes, but that's not going to be the main event. The main event's going to be the rain, and so the rain's going to continue to usher its way through. Here's Thursday night, heaviest rain to our east, but then another round moves its way through. So Thursday into Friday, Friday into Saturday, here comes another low-pressure system out of the Gulf, and that's going to spread in showers and a few thunderstorms throughout the day on Friday. And then as that tracks its way into the mid-Atlantic, that's what's going to draw in the cooler, drier air, but wring out the atmosphere in the form of some light snow showers. You can see Monday morning, maybe a few light snow showers around the classic horseshoe, the plateau, the mountains, southeastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia. That really should be about the extent of it. All right, so let's break it down day by day across the region. Here's your forecast rainfall for the next 24 hours across the entire region. Then we'll go to tomorrow. You can see how we're still going to have those elevated rain chances. A little bit of a lull on Friday, kind of ramps back up again on Saturday, I should say. And then by Sunday, Monday timeframe, this all works its way on out of here. Temperatures fall back to those seasonal averages, and the storm winds down. But when you add up all those days worth of rain, the next basically 5 days, again, we're talking anywhere from 2 to 3, 4 inches of rainfall around the entire region. So heavy rain is in the forecast. Temperature trend, we're well above average, so much so I've covered up the graphic with our average high. The average highs are in the mid to upper 40s. We'll be in the 60s all the way through Saturday. Sunday, we'll see falling temperatures. We'll see that wraparound moisture and the colder air. So we've dropped back to those seasonal averages Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's how it should feel for this time of the year. So that's why we have averages, right? We've had the Arctic air. Now we're going to have the warmer air. And so you kind of average things out climatologically, and that's where we get that average. It's a 30-year average, actually. So our 30-year average for low temperatures are in the 20s and low 30s. We're going to be in the 50s all the way through Saturday. We'll get closer to those seasonal averages on Sunday, and then more average weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when we're talking temperatures for lows. All right, if that's what you need to know and you need to hit the road, we sure hope you have a great day. Thanks for checking in, by the way. And now let's switch gears and head over to the chat and the conversation. Now we like to have a conversation with Wake Up with Witcher. You can ask questions. We can have a question and answer session. Or a lot of folks just say good morning and don't really care about the rest, and that's okay. But I do appreciate you joining in and saying good morning each and every day. So good morning, Kimberly. Sure hope you have a great day. She's in love with this weather. Well, let's see what you say tomorrow morning after the heavy rain, and maybe Friday after the heavy rain, and maybe Saturday after the heavy rain. See if you're really still in love with this weather. We'll just have to watch out for the creeks and the rivers to come up. And remember all the rain that we had ahead of the snowstorm and the creeks and the rivers up into the mountain counties. That could be a concern again as we wrap up this week. So something to keep in mind if you're joining us from the mountain counties. Less rainfall there possibly just in general, but still we're going to see rising creeks and rivers. Edwin says, still some ice in my son's apartment complex off a paper mill. I think that's the story, really. Some of the parking lots have just been more of a mess. You've seen them still cleaning them up, but hopefully we'll see some huge improvements. We'll see some huge improvements throughout the next couple of days, which is good news to pass along. Let's see. Lee, are they going to be opening the golf course anytime soon? Or is this rain just going to be insult to injury? You know, the golf courses, nobody could play golf because of the snow. Now are we going to be able to play golf because of the rain? Probably not, because you don't want anybody on the greens. But Lee's on here, and so see if what Lee says to that question. Okay, so here we go. I just got to keep. I got to keep going through the chat. I'm just starting from the top, and you guys have been adding a lot to it. May get to play golf next week. Oh, next week, hopefully. Yeah, maybe so. Edwin says Paper Mill Road okay once you get off it. Of course, Kingston Pike. A lot of people on it trying to catch up on errands that they missed. That's what I noticed. Last 2 days, it looks like everyone's coming out of their shells, being able to get out of the neighborhoods. And I feel like traffic just got extremely busy. I live near Kingston Pike and travel Kingston Pike a little bit more as well. And so I thought traffic was just a little bit busier yesterday. And of course, that's going to be the trend as we get into some normalcy and everyone starts going back to work and school. Obviously, the morning commute's not nearly as busy as the evening commute because the kids aren't out there, the kids aren't going to school, and so a lot of folks not going to be traveling. Starlane says, thank goodness the Arctic air has moved out, or we'd have even a bigger mess. And that's likely the case. Yeah, thank goodness that we don't have the Arctic air in place with the rainfall. Could you imagine? I mean, what, 2-3 inches of rainfall at a 10-to-1 ratio? 10 inches or 1 inch of rain to 10 inches of snow? We had like 30 inches of snow. Thank goodness the Arctic air's gone. But now we just transition to another problem, right? Good morning, Mike from Newport Schools here 2 hours late. So Newport Schools are running 2 hours late. So Newport Schools going to school. But remember, we saw the heaviest snow across the central counties, the central part of East Tennessee. That's where we saw the heaviest snow. And that's why we still have snow on the ground. So we've got to melt all that snow away. Good morning, Layla. She's on here this morning. Betty, good morning. How's the grandson? And I think you said you were watching your grandson or something like that while the kids were in New Orleans. So Dottie says she's looking forward to the white stuff being gone. You know, I told my wife yesterday, we were driving. We actually drove into Oliver Springs yesterday, and there's still so much snow on the ground. I told her, I said, this reminds me of being, you know, I grew up in Colorado. This reminds me of being in Colorado, I should say. Because sometimes when it snows there, it sticks around for a little bit longer. Unless you get a Chinook wind, a snow-eating wind, and it melts it pretty quickly across the front range of Colorado. But, yeah, kind of has made me think of, you know, where I grew up, home. That's still my home. This is my home, but that will always be home because that's where I grew up and born and raised in the same house. Didn't leave Colorado until I took the job in 2005 here in East Tennessee. So definitely lived a long time in Colorado, most of my life. But now you look at time and you're like, well, I've been here since 2005. So now I'm pushing the time that I was in Colorado versus the time here. That's weird. And if you feel like that, if you're from somewhere else and you've lived here and you've set up shop and now this is home, anybody go, wow, I've actually lived here longer than what I call home, where I grew up. Kind of weird. Time flies, right? Is the drought report still being published? Have we recovered? Let me pull that up. Good question this morning. That's coming in from Tom this morning. So let me get the drought monitor up and I'll show you because it comes out every Thursday. And so, yeah, it still is up. So let me get this on the screen for you. There it is. So here we go. I'll go back to the weather maps. See, this is where the question and answer come into play. And you can ask questions, and I try to answer as many questions as you have because I can't possibly post all the questions that you have on social media with all the weather maps. I'd inundate you with weather maps, and sometimes I feel like I do already anyways. But anyways, all right, here is the latest U.S. drought monitor. So we still have a severe drought across parts of the Cumberland Plateau. That would be Crossville, Morgan County, into Fentress County. We've seen huge improvements across the central and northeast parts of town where we just have abnormally dry conditions. So not necessarily still drought conditions, but abnormally dry, and still a moderate drought from Monroe County down into the south and even further to our south and over back into Middle Tennessee as well. So, yes, we've seen improvements with the drought, but we have not seen it totally disappear. Let me see. Let's look at past 7 days. Now, this is just going to be past 7 days rainfall. Obviously, this is not. In the past 7 days, rainfall amounts, we've only had a trace. But obviously, we saw the snow. So that's just kind of a moisture equivalent. But yeah, interesting stuff right there. Good question this morning, Tom. So thanks for asking that one. Bob and Dina Morris, I hope you have a great day as well. Good morning, RD. We've got Pauline on here. How's your cup of coffee? Nice little warm up this morning. So toss a coin on you. Let's see. Not quite sure that what you mean there. Narutaka. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying there. Sorry. You might have to reassess what you're saying. I try to answer or try to read all the messages. So Mara says, I think it's Mara. Hopefully I'm correct on that. Says, I hope you add raincoats to your online store. We need them. I will have raincoats on my online store. So hopefully if you want an East Tennessee weather raincoat, I'm going to have, coffee mugs and shirts and hats and sweatshirts and stuff. So still going through my new website. That's still being built out. So that's coming to the market here soon. And of course I'll announce that because there's going to be a lot more information on the website. I'll have a blog on there where you'll actually get to sit and read it. You'll be able to have a lot more weather maps, ones that I post on social media, but maybe a little bit more in-depth weather reports that will be written out on my blog coming soon. Good morning, loyal Kentucky. Linda is joining us from Kentucky this morning, so glad Kentucky's on here. Glad you're sticking with me. Hey, by the way, don't forget, we have Chocolate Fest coming up at the Jacobs Building on Saturday, Felicia says. So if you're looking for some chocolate Fest at the Jacobs Building on Saturday. I think you said it was like 9 to 5 or something like that, Felicia. So let me know. Put it in the chat. Again, if you have any community events that are ongoing or coming up and you want to announce that to the folks that are on here, let me know and I'll read them out. Because it's always fun. I love trying to find some of these events in some of the smaller communities. I love doing like farmers markets. I think it's a lot of fun just to walk around and then support local businesses because I love how all these small businesses set up shop, trying to sell their stuff because there are some great local businesses. I'm actually going to be meeting up with 865 Candle. I think this week. We were supposed to meet last week. We're going to meet this week. They're in South Knoxville. And so if you love candles, I will be highlighting them in the coming days as we go meet up. I think they're going to be doing some advertising with me. Alex is over the snow. He says, bring on spring. I'll be curious, though. Bring on spring, yes. I'm ready for some spring weather, too. If it were to snow every day, that'd be great. I'm okay with that because I love the snow. But this spring's going to be interesting because there are some signs. And if you look back in time on some of the snowiest months or years, the more active winter months led into a more active and severe spring season. So hopefully we don't have that, but looks like this could be a very active spring season. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. And of course, I'll keep you posted each and every day right here on Wake Up with Witcher and on the East Tennessee Weather Platform. So make sure you check that out. Farming life, we go to snow and frozen ground to mud. Rather have mud than 30 plus inches of snow on the ground, says MW King. Yeah, but even with too much water, you can't farm, right? And it can ruin crops and you can't get out there and I don't know. It's a tough life. And if you are a farmer, MW King, thank you for what you do. We wouldn't have the food and the things that we have without the farmers and the bees, right? Because they pollinate all of our plants. Kimberly says, do you ever get tired of putting on a suit every morning? Well, I don't have a full suit on, by the way. I just have I don't even have slacks on. I just wear a sport coat, shirt and tie. And I actually say, look at this. Watch. I wear sandals every day. I don't even wear dress shoes. I don't even wear shoes. I just wear sandals every day. Even during the Arctic air, I had sandals on. I don't need that. They're comfortable. They're squishy sandals. I want to be comfortable, right? But yes, I do. I do get tired of it sometimes. It's okay. It's part of the deal. Let's see. Betty says grandson says it's great. Loves being out of school. Yeah, they'll go back to school tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. If Knox County doesn't, if they call school again tomorrow, or any of the school systems, I think we'll get. I think we'll check that snow cover map tomorrow morning and see what the rain does and the warmer temperatures do, because remember we still have snow on the ground some of you that may have missed that, still got a bit of snow on the ground. When you look at the snow, this is an analysis of snow, and so I'll go back to that. You can still see how much snow is still on the ground. This is a good indication of where we saw the heaviest snow because it's still on the ground. Of course, we're going to have it across the highest peaks of the Smokies. That's going to be the story, but slowly but surely melting away. We got Cha-Cha Shelby on here. Good morning, Cha-Cha Shelby. I love some of the names. Good morning, neighbor. Laura's on here. We have Leanne Boggs. Good morning to you. Tina, there's some cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff with East Tennessee weather coming your way. And a lot of advertisers have reached out this week and last week. And so if you are an advertiser that reached out to me, I am trying to get through all of these emails. So I'll be with you here shortly. And we'll set up a meeting. But I do appreciate all the support for sure. Okay, so 9 to 5 for Chocolate Fest, by the way. And she says, okay, so Felicia is going to be out there. Come by and see my booth for some stuffies for your Valentine's. So what do you sell, Felicia? Tell us what you sell on here. And is there another way for people to buy stuff from you? Again, this is all about supporting small businesses, right? So let us know on the chat. So fire away, Felicia, and let us know. But she's going to have a booth. So if you're on this chat frequently, we're starting to get to know each other because we're on here every day together, which I love. I love that we're having a relationship. We have a relationship with each other, and a lot of you are chiming in with each other, which just makes it that much more entertaining and fun, and the conversation continues, which I think is really, really cool. All right, couldn't get this on any other platforms I did years past. Let's see. So Tina lives you live on a rural road in Hamlin County. You'll take the rain over the snow. I mean, kind of got to watch what we wish for, right? Beggars can't be choosers at this point of the game. We're just going to get what we get. So Tina says, I think we'd all be fine if you were in jeans and a t-shirt. Well, funny that you say that, Tina, because my original goal was to be way more dressed down. I actually did not want to be in a shirt and tie and a suit jacket. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this differently from what I've always done in the TV world. But I don't really know. We kind of had the conversation with my wife and friends and like, I think you need to look a little bit more professional. I actually went out and bought a bunch of business cash dress attire, which I need for my business meetings anyways. But, well, maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll do cash Fridays. Maybe I'll do casual over the weekends. And then maybe we just slowly transition to being a little bit more casual, because I'd rather be more casual too. When I do severe weather coverage or anything, long-term forecast coverage anyways, here on the platform, I'm going to be wearing a t-shirt. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be wearing during severe weather events and stuff like that. I'm going to be down and dirty with you. No need to roll up the sleeves. But you got to realize a lot of people are coming to East Tennessee, moving here every day. We have 20 million people that come to our backyard every day. Just kind of wanted to present it a little bit more professional, but maybe not. Maybe if you would prefer casual, let me know, because maybe I'll start doing that. Laura says, the one-time homeschool kids wish they could be in Knox County kids. Sorry, kids. Still getting their schoolwork done. Yes, they are. Oh, man. Okay, so did we have an El Nino year during the blizzard of 93? Is there a pattern here? Ooh, good question. I only went back 15 years. Stand by. I have some El Nino information. It's on some paperwork just down here, so give me 1 second. How about I stick you with the cameras and some music? There we go. While I fade away, I'll cue the music. I'll be right back. Stand by, my friends. I only went back to 2008 when we're talking El Nino years. I only went back to 2008. So El Nino years were 2009, 2010, 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019. Those were El Nino years. And so Knoxville, on most of those El Nino years, picked up above average snowfall. With for the season anyways. 2014-15 was the most at 9.3 inches. Let's see. We had places like Tri-Cities Their biggest snowfall during an El Nino year was 2009 and 2010, picking up 26 inches of snow. Chattanooga, their biggest snow year was 2009, 2010, also with 10 inches, but also had a big year in 2014, 2015. And I think that's all I have is Knoxville, Chattanooga, and the Tri-Cities area. So I did not go back to that. So I'll have to double check on that one. But that is a good question. But you look at times of like 2010, we had some decent snow. We also had heavy snow also in 2010 and 2011. And 2011 and 2012, we only had a trace of snow. That was in Chattanooga. Let's see, Knoxville and Tri-Cities. 2011, 2012 was really dry. So Tri-Cities only picked up 1.2 inches. Knoxville only picked up 1/10 of an inch of snow that year, and only a trace in Chattanooga in 2011, 2012. And remember, 2010 through 2012, we had severe weather. It was April 2011 that we had the big tornado outbreak. And so we had a lot of snow that year. Yeah, we had 12 inches, 2010, 2011 in Chattanooga. Knoxville had 12.3, Tri-Cities 15.6 for the season. So that was a snowy year. It was not an El Nino year, but it was a snowy year. And so we'll see how that plays out when it comes to severe weather. But great questions this morning. And remember, I told you yesterday, or a couple days ago, that I asked the National Weather Service, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. All the days kind of blend together anymore. But how, people were asking about the blizzard of 1993 and how we had 7 consecutive days of 4 inches of snowfall on the ground or more, that we broke the record this past 7 days. In 1993, actually, we went from 15 to 18 inches of snowfall down to a trace of snowfall in just 4 days. So that was a good question that somebody asked about the blizzard of 1993. So let's see. El Nino plays a fact in snowfall. Did El Nino play a fact in the snowfall that we've had? Yeah, absolutely it does. Because as long as we can get the cold Arctic air to intrude, which we typically do during El Nino years, typically it's a little bit warmer, a little bit drier to our or a little bit colder to our north. Typically our polar jet stream is a little bit further north during an El Nino year, but we also get that subtropical jet stream to set up shop, and that's what actually brings us the moisture source. And so if you actually have the colder air in place, then you start to get better chances for seeing more snow, and that's exactly what we saw. So I was looking for my El Nino stuff because I was going to show you some El Nino stuff. I can't find it off the top of my head. Let's see if I can find it. El Nino, there it is. Okay, so here I'll go back to the weather maps and we'll highlight what El Nino is and so let's go back to the weather maps. All right, so El Nino and the tropics. So El Nino is the warming of the Pacific waters, right? And so what that does is it changes the track of our polar jet stream and the track of our subtropical jet stream because of the trade winds pulling in, and you get upwelling of warmer waters. So during El Nino, temperature-wise, we actually usually have above normal temperatures across the northern tier, below temperatures average anyways across the southern tier. You have that subtropical jet stream, so the moisture feed down more so across the south, and our polar jet stream more toward the north. But when you look at precipitation, typically we are a little bit drier, but when you look in climatologically, and a little bit wetter to our south. But notice that wetter pattern to our south because of that subtropical jet stream, that if we can just get that to lift a little bit further north, which we did, then you just get that fetch of moisture with the colder air in place. That's what leads to above average snowfall, typically during those seasons. So remember the temperature forecast for the winter. Anyways, we talked about this earlier at the beginning of winter. We typically trend a little bit above average and a little bit below average when it comes to precipitation, just climatologically speaking. But obviously, we have now surpassed our average snowfall for East Tennessee. Knoxville picks up usually 4.5 inches of snowfall during an average year. Now, again, that's climatologically speaking. That's a 30-year average. And we picked up more this past week, upwards of 8, 9, 10, 11, even 12 inches last week. Isn't that not just mind-blowing for sure? So good morning. So Lucy says a lot of schools have NTI days. They are still working. I'm not quite sure what NTI days are. So Betty says keep the shirt and tie. So there's one vote. Keep the shirt and tie. Hey, Buck, everybody say bye to Buck. He's going on vacation today. Hasta la vista, baby. Safe travels, my friend, and I hope to see you back here when you come back with a nice suntan. And hopefully we'll get some pictures while you're on vacation as well. Lee, I don't know what you're talking about, Lee. Good morning, Cody. So Michelle says, will we get thunderstorms with the warm weather coming or warm temps with the rain at least? Yeah, we're going to get warmer temperatures. We're going to be above average by 15 to 20 degrees as we round out the week. Do we get some thunderstorms? Yeah, can't rule out a few thunderstorms. Not looking at any severe weather risk, which is good. So no severe weather risk with this storm system, but can't rule out a few thunderstorms. Kimberly wants to know when the meet and greet is. I'm trying to set that up. Orange Hat Brewery probably is where it's going to be because they got a big space, and that's a good friend of mine who owns Orange Hat Brewery in Hardin Valley. So it'll probably be there just because it's a big enough space for people to walk around and hang out, but trying to get that set up. And what they're going to do is he's going to offer a discount on his beers if you prove that you've downloaded my East Tennessee weather app. See, it's a 2-for. One small business helping another one. Tyler says, are we going to get any flooding in Knoxville? It's a possibility. The flood watch is south of us right now, but the possibility is there because remember we have that elevated flood risk from now through Friday. Heidi says, you can wear whatever you want. She goes, I don't see any difference. I just appreciate the work that you're doing. So it's just the same to you. Thanks. Let's see. Lucy says, Mike, they bring their Chromebooks home and still do their work. My kids were not. I don't think my kids have their Chromebooks. I think they left them at school. And that's what I was saying. I was like, I wonder why they didn't bring home the Chromebooks knowing that we were having this impending weather just in case, and we do virtual. But they've got the snow days. They didn't use any last year. So it's nice to give the teachers a break. A lot of the teachers the break anyways. I know a lot of us are ready to go back to school or get the kids back to school. We'll get there. Probably tomorrow. Any flood risk in southeast Kentucky? Not nearly as much as closer to Chattanooga. So the further south you live, say further north from downtown. I always use downtown Knoxville because it cuts East Tennessee in half. But anybody north of downtown Knoxville, less likely to have any flood concerns. South of Knoxville, better chance for some localized flooding. So something to keep in mind. Yeah, Laura says, K through 5, they don't bring Chromebooks home anymore. Okay, that makes sense. That's why my kids do not have their Chromebooks anymore. Which I don't know why they don't do that, but I'm okay with that also because I didn't think that bringing their Chromebooks home and doing virtual school, I mean, I get it. We had to do COVID, right? They had to still try to do school, and I think at this point of the game, just let them use their school days or snow days. I agree, Cody. Cody says the days that they didn't use last year should totally roll over. I don't disagree with that, and I actually heard some interesting facts about the teachers that those snow days are built in, but I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe the teachers don't get paid. So if they don't use those days, they don't get paid if they use the days. Does that make sense? So that's what it is. If they don't use the days, the teachers don't get those extra, 8 to 10 days that they get. If they use them, it doesn't matter. Something like that. So I thought it was kind of weird. I was like, well, why don't they just include that into the schedule and say, okay, these are the days that you're going to get paid for. And if we have snow days, well, you're still getting paid. Seems to make sense to me, but I don't think that's the way the way it is. Oh, Lee lost the feed. I was wondering what you were talking about. Willis. Oh. The kids look forward to snow days for sure. All right, so remember that Wake Up with Witcher, we get to work with the forecast, and we sit down and have some conversation. I go through the feed, listen to what you guys say, answer some questions if you have questions, and you all have really good questions. I can't always necessarily answer them on the fly. Sometimes I'm going to have to do some research. And we do that on the fly as well. And then so you can stick around for the conversation. You can get off to work. You can drop off whenever you'd like. I just like to have a conversation with you. Because I think it's important to have conversations with each other. So let's go ahead and back and recap everything. And we'll highlight the forecast. Remember, we still have snow on the ground. The snow's going to melt away, but the flood threat will increase. So as we highlight the risk, not the risk. If we highlight the percentage of rain chances, and again, I can't stress this enough. I could not stress this enough on TV, but I could never really get all the information out. So that's why this environment exists, where we give you the forecast, we have some conversation, I'll recap it, and then we'll give a big shout out to our sponsorships as they have made this all possible right here in East Tennessee weather. But one thing you'll always hear me say is don't take those rain chances as the say all be all, because it doesn't tell you intensity, duration, or timing. You have to go find the other parts of the information. That's why I'm not a huge fan of having probability of precipitation on a 7-day forecast, because people see 70% and they're like, oh, well, my day's ruined. Well, not necessarily. If you have a cold front that comes through and it's a thin line, or you could even put a 100% chance of rain that day. But if everybody gets wet, even if it's for 3 seconds, by classification of probabilities, that is a 100% chance of rain. So don't ever think that 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% chance of rain always means it's going to be all day long. That is not the case. That's not how probabilities read. And so with that said, yes, elevated rain chances. Yes, everybody's going to get wet over the next 3 to 5 days. The Weather Prediction Center, they're the ones who issue the flood risk. And so, and the amount of precipitation that we possibly could see. They do that for the whole country. So there's different departments under NOAA, right? The National Weather Service, the Climate Prediction Center, the Storm Prediction Center. And so they all issue risks across the country. So the Weather Prediction Center has issued a level 1 and 2 risk over the next 24 hours for an elevated risk for some flooding and or some localized flash flooding. That's going to be the case. So they've expanded that for the day tomorrow. That should actually say Thursday, not Wednesday. And then as we get into Friday, we're going to still hang on to a little bit of an elevated flood risk. And so the flood risk is there because, remember, as we melt the snow, we're going to end up with about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of water equivalent to all the snow melting. And then we're adding 1 to 2, 3 inches of rainfall on top of that. So really by the end of the week, through the, on the ground or through the ground or in the ground or on top of the ground, what am I trying to say? We could end up with 3 to 5 inches of moisture. And so that's what's going to get the creeks and the rivers to rise. And so there is a percentage, there is a chance of some flood risk. And so that's why we do have the flood watch. Now, if they expand that, I'll pass that along because the flood watch is just for the Southern Valley. Most of the day is going to be dry, but after sundown tonight, that's when the heaviest rain starts to set up shop. So it's going to be pouring, I think, as we get into the evening hours, dinner, bedtime. It's going to be pouring around town. And that heavy rain is going to be with us through the early overnight hours and start to fade away a little bit as we get it closer to sunrise tomorrow morning, but still a very soggy start to the day. Maybe a little bit of a lull throughout the late morning hours tomorrow, and then the rain ramps back up tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And it's not done, actually, as we get into our weekend, Saturday into Sunday. We'll see another low track its way on out, and that's going to bring us more rain. So when you look at your 3-day forecast, we'll see temperatures above average. And so we do have a chance for a few isolated rumbles of thunder through the day tomorrow as the frontal boundary edges so close and pushes onto the area. But that's going to provide extra lift and instability. We need instability to produce thunderstorms, but no major severe weather threat. But then when you talk about the whole storm, so from today through, let's just go through Sunday. I know this takes us through Tuesday, but we're not going to see any rain Monday, Tuesday time frame. So we're looking at anywhere from 1 inch, 1.5 inches to 2 inches from Knox County towards Tri-Cities. Along Interstate 40 westbound, we could see around 2.5 inches. And then south on 75, we're going to see anywhere from 2 to upwards of 3, maybe pockets of 4 inches. If we get some good thunderstorms, that's where you get convective rain, and that's where you can drop a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And that would be insult to injury. And that's where the flash flood risk would increase if we get some thunderstorms to develop. If it's just widespread rain, less likely to see flash flooding, but more likely to see maybe just ongoing flooding or rising creeks and rivers. Many of you have been asking, and I know Kimberly was on here. If you are interested in any sort of East Tennessee weather merch, I'm getting a store coming up with my new website soon. But for now, you're going, and where you could order on the website, but for now, you're just going to have to send me a message, Mike@easttnweather.com. Let me know what color, what size you want. If you're willing to, if you want a hat or a t-shirt to support East Tennessee weather. I have got a lot more merch coming out soon, so definitely a lot more coming to the market. Just for fun. Really, I'm not a merch shop, but I'm going to have a merch shop. Hey, by the way, don't forget, if you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, this is going to be a great tool over the next couple of days. Make sure your notifications are turned on because you'll get any sort of watches or warnings that will be issued by the National Weather Service. You'll get lightning push alerts if there's lightning close to you. That's always a great tool. And you'll get push alerts from me if and when I need to go broadcast live. I will let you know through the East Tennessee Weather app that I am live. But also the interactive radar is going to be a great tool because it goes back in time 2 hours and it goes forward in time 2 hours, and it starts off at the current time. So when you look at that, just click on the interactive radar. And just below that, of course, I've got cameras and the daily forecast where you can just come in, get the daily forecast. I update it 3 times a day. If you don't have time for Wake Up with Witcher, it doesn't matter to me. Just come check out the latest forecast any time of the day. That's why this is East Tennessee weather when you want it. Not when I'm available for you, but when you want it. All right, we're going to wrap things up. It's 7:45 right now. Checking that time so you don't run late. And again, no major issues, it seems to be, on the interstate system this morning. Heavy rain settles in overnight tonight. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share what you like. If you like what I'm doing, I would love for you to share that on social media, whether it be the Mike Witcher TV Facebook page, the East Tennessee Weather Facebook page. I'm also on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Threads. I'm also on TikTok. Not a ton of TikTok stuff right now. Trying to figure out what the best way to present weather on TikTok would be. I've got an idea, but it takes time. And remember, I'm setting up cameras across East Tennessee. If you're interested, if you're a small business and you're interested in a weather camera, a free weather camera. Did you hear me? It's free. FREE, all capitalized. Let me know, and we'll get you a camera set up. I have a wall just in front of me, and I right now have 10 to 15 lined up that I will be setting up shortly, and these will all be able to be broadcast live. So you'll be able to go to the East Tennessee Weather East Tennessee Weather app, the website, on YouTube. You'll be able to watch live cameras soon, hopefully, around all of East Tennessee. So if you're interested in that, and if you're looking for any sort of advertising, hit me up, Mike at easttnweather.com as well. Let me know that you're wanting for some advertisement. I do have links on my app and also on the website. So we sure hope you have a wonderful and safe day. Cody says, I was going to order a hat forever ago. I know you were. What happened, Cody? What happened? Oh, man. Well, you guys are all amazing. I'll let you get back to it. If you ever have any questions, you can always send me an email or message me on Facebook and social media. Ask away. I'll try to answer as many as I possibly can. As East Tennessee weather grows, it's hard to get to all of the questions and conversation, but that's why I like to have the conversation right here every single morning. Remember, Wake Up with Witcher starts at 7 o'clock Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock Saturday and Sunday, and you know, I'm on all social media platforms. We are going to take a quick break and hear from our local sponsorships, and then we'll get back to it. So if you missed any of this forecast, I will come on every 5 minutes with the 24-hour weather channel, which you can get on the app and the website. Just put it up on work, open it up on the app. You don't even have to get out of bed to check out the latest forecast around East Tennessee. As always, I really, really, really do appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for joining in on the conversation. You make it so much nicer to come and broadcast every single day. You are my friends. You are my family. So thanks for helping me build East Tennessee weather. Remember to always be safe. Always be kind to each other. Life is short, my friends. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Wake Up with Witcher, bright and early at 7 o'clock. See you soon.
Since 1982, Mike Stevens Homes has built a place for your most cherished and treasured memories. We know the events that take place within the walls of our homes are the stuff of life, and we don't take that responsibility lightly. Our design process starts with you. Every home we build is as unique as the person or the family we're building for. I'm Mike Stevens, and I'd love to talk to you about your new home in your new neighborhood. Let us create the perfect place for your memories of baby's first steps, Thanksgiving with your parents, grandparents, and cousins, and the million treasured moments you'll be thinking of 20 years from now. Mike Stevens Homes doesn't build houses. We build places where your memories happen.
Hey guys, Mark Trout at Rusty Wallace Chevrolet in Clinton. we're looking to save you more than ever before in 2024. We have rates starting as low as 0.9% and the largest inventory we've had in over 4 years. And as always, we have Rusty's exclusive 200,000-mile warranties. So find new roads to Rusty Wallace Chevrolet in Clinton or visit us online at RustyWallaceChevrolet.com, where Chevys cost less.
You're watching East Tennessee weather. Weather when you want it.
Hi, everyone. Have a wonderful and safe Wednesday. Most of the day will be dry, although we'll see a couple of spotty showers throughout the day. It's really later on this evening and then overnight tonight that we're going to be tracking in some heavy rain. So the heavy rain does settle in this evening and through the overnight hours. Couple more rounds of rain as we head through our Friday into our Saturday, and then falling temperatures on into our Sunday with a flood threat increasing around the area. So let's talk about it. Rain chances do ramp up. Remember, percentages don't tell you the whole story. It doesn't tell you duration, intensity, or timing. It just lets you know if you have a good chance of getting wet. And you do, especially by sundown here later on tonight and then overnight tonight. Now, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a level 1 and 2 risk for the potential for some flooding today. That continues on into the day tomorrow, and we're going to hang on to a chance for some localized flooding as we get into our Friday per the Weather Prediction Center. So let's go ahead and get you out the door this morning and start you off with temperatures not bad. It feels good outside, really. Mostly cloudy and 37. We'll climb into the low 50s by lunchtime, so we've got that going for us. Remember, average highs are in the mid to upper 40s. So pick up our timeline at noon today because nothing to show you this morning. We'll see those rain chances start to just a few spotty showers throughout the day. 3 o'clock today. Again, a lot of kids not heading off to school today. Maybe they'll go tomorrow. Who knows, right? But as we get past sundown, that's when the heaviest rain is really going to set up shop and work on it. Now, it's going to be a warm day, so the big thaw of 2024 continues. The melting will continue. We top out in the 50s and 60s, so that's good news because we'll get back to some normalcy. But getting into the evening hours, 56 by 5 for the evening rush hour. Heavy rain as we get into 7 and 9 o'clock tonight, and temperatures hovering in the low to mid 50s. We'll continue our future cast, talk about your 3-day forecast. That's coming up in just about 5 minutes or so. All right, so remember I said the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for East Tennessee. It does include the Southern Valley, not the North and Northeastern Valley, but subject to change. And as the National Weather Service changes this, we'll pass that information along to you. So the timeline, 7 o'clock tonight. Here comes the heavy rain after sundown. It's going to be a soaker tonight while we're sleeping. That's going to make for some tough travel early tomorrow morning, as we're going to have the heavy rain with us as we wake up early in the morning. Now, not maybe nearly as heavy as it's going to be as we get into 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, but still some very soggy conditions just through sunrise. Many areas, upper East Tennessee, probably about a third to nearly a half an inch of rain, half an inch to over an inch to maybe even 2 inches down across the Southern Valley. And that's why we do have that flood watch in effect across the Southern Valley. They're likely to get a lot more rain down across the Southern Valley. But low temperatures tonight, look at this. It's going to be mild. We're going to be in the 50s. That's above our average high temperatures for this time of the year. Heading to the day on Thursday, we're going to continue to see a few spotty showers for the first part of the day. And then we'll track in more rounds of rain as we get into our Thursday night and Friday. So more rain on the way. By the end of the day on Thursday, we're going to add to those rainfall totals. And so many of us by tomorrow night will pick up anywhere from nearly an inch to over 2 inches again across the Southern Valley. So again, just to recap, the Southern Valley will get the heaviest rainfall. That's why the flood watch is in effect there, but subject to change for the rest of East Tennessee. High temperatures on Thursday, well above average by nearly 15 to 20 degrees. We're going to be in the mid to upper 60s again, average highs in the mid to upper 40s. We'll stay in the 60s on into our Friday. Warm again Saturday, falling temperatures Sunday, and more seasonable weather returning to East Tennessee Monday and Tuesday. I'll show you what that looks like with the big picture weather pattern and your extended 7-day temperature trend. That's coming up in just a few minutes. I'll be right back. To recap those weather headlines, we're talking about a flood threat to increase around East Tennessee as we head through the rest of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Where remember, the National Weather Service has issued flood watches for the southern valley of East Tennessee. Got a big fetch of moisture with the upper level pattern. A lot of Gulf moisture coming on into the area. So today's risk for flooding will be across the Tennessee Valley down into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and even into West Texas. That's going to be the trend again tomorrow, and we'll continue to hang on to that flood threat as we head through the day on into our Friday. So let's pick up our timeline. 7 o'clock this morning, here comes the rain. It's going to be settling its way across the entire state and the region, so keep that in mind if you have travel plans. We'll stop the clock as we get into our Thursday evening, and you'll see how those rain showers are going to continue to ramp up around the area. Then the cold front comes through, and that's going to usher in more showers and a few pockets of thunderstorms. Can't be ruled out, but no severe weather threat. Getting into the weekend, Saturday morning, we're going to be tracking in more rain throughout the day on Saturday, and then back behind that low pressure system, we'll get some wraparound snow showers. Light snow showers expected across the highest peaks of the Smokies as it stands right now. But look at the rainfall that we're expected. This is just through the day today, the next 24 hours. And you can really see how the rain's going to ramp up around the region. Tomorrow, we'll continue to see more rain. As we get into our Friday, a little bit of a lull around the southeastern U.S. Heaviest rain on Friday will be across the deep south anyways, from Montgomery, Alabama to Atlanta and Macon, Georgia. And then that kind of ramps back up as we get into our Saturday. Saturday into Sunday, the storm system starts to exit, and by Monday, it's a thing of the past. But rainfall totals through this entire event are going to be anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe pockets of 4 to 5 inches of rainfall across the southeastern U.S. So big time rain and the potential for some flooding. Big time temperatures all the way up past the average high temps for this time of the year. Average highs are in the mid to upper 40s. We'll be nearly 20 degrees above average as we get through the day on Thursday. Low 60s Friday, Saturday. And then more seasonable temperatures head our way Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Low temperatures are going to be warm as well above the average low temperature of 30. We'll drop back to those seasonal averages as we get into our Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time frame. We'll kind of wrap this up into a nice little bow, bring it back down to the local level. That's coming up in just a few minutes. All right, let's go ahead and wrap everything up in a nice little bow for you and talk about the local forecast. We'll talk about rainfall, but let's start you off with the rainfall chances anyways. This is probability of precipitation. Remember, this doesn't tell you the whole story. It doesn't tell you duration, timing, or intensity, but it lets you know you have a good chance for some rain. And that's going to be the case as we head through the evening hours tonight and through our Thursday, where we do have a level 1 and 2 risk for some potential flooding concerns as we head through the day today. And also as we get into our Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, and Friday time frame. So something to keep in mind. So getting you out the door this morning, temperature is nice and mild. We're going to warm quickly. By noon, we're going to be in the low 50s under mostly cloudy skies. Can't rule out a few showers throughout the day today. Not expecting a whole lot for most of the day, as you'll be able to see on our Futurecast model. But as we get past sundown tonight, that's when the heaviest rain will settle its way on in. So if you have the plans to be out and about for your lunch hour, maybe a couple of spotty showers, kids heading home from school, whatever kids are going to school, maybe a few spotty showers. But as we get closer to the evening rush hour and sundown, that's when the heaviest rain is going to set up shop and work its way on in. That rain's going to be with us heavy all through the overnight hours, making for a rather soggy start to our Thursday morning. And then we're going to continue to see those rain chances ramp back up through the day on Thursday and into our Friday, and again, Friday, Saturday. So again, elevated rain chances here for the next several days. So keep those umbrellas and the rain jackets handy because you're going to need those. Rainfall totals all the way through Friday morning are going to be anywhere from basically about 1 inch to upwards of 2, maybe pockets of 3 inches around East Tennessee. So a lot of rain is on the way. When you look at your 3-day forecast, we'll be at the 58 degrees today. We're going to be in the 60s tomorrow, nearly 20 degrees above average. We'll stay above average with some showers as we head through the day on into our Friday. And when all is said and done, all the way through the weekend, as the storm system winds down and wraps up, we'll see anywhere from 1 to pockets of 3 inches of rainfall around East Tennessee. So do travel safely. And by the way, thanks for checking out your local forecast right here on East Tennessee Weather.
Hey folks, it's Brian from Rusty Wallace Kia on Alcoa Highway. We're kicking off the new year right. You'll save more than ever before in 2024. The price won't be the problem with deals like these. Get rates as low as 0.9%. Get $7,000 over KBB value for your trade. Plus, every new Kia comes with Rusty's exclusive, no-charge 200,000-mile warranty. And don't forget, the price will not be the problem at Rusty Wallace Kia on Alcoa Highway.
You're watching East Tennessee Weather, powered by Rusty Wallace Automotive Group.
Hi, everyone. Have a wonderful and safe Wednesday. Most of the day will be dry, although we'll see a couple of spotty showers throughout the day. It's really later on this evening and then overnight tonight that we're going to be tracking in some heavy rain. So the heavy rain does settle in this evening and through the overnight hours. Couple more rounds of rain as we head through our Friday into our Saturday, and then falling temperatures on into our Sunday with a flood threat increasing around the area. So let's talk about it. Rain chances do ramp up. Remember, percentages don't tell you the whole story. It doesn't tell you duration, intensity, or timing. It just lets you know if you have a good chance of getting wet. And you do, especially by sundown here later on tonight and then overnight tonight. Now, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a level 1 and 2 risk for the potential for some flooding today. That continues on into the day tomorrow, and we're going to hang on to a chance for some localized flooding as we get into our Friday per the Weather Prediction Center. So let's go ahead and get you out the door this morning and start you off with temperatures not bad. It feels good outside, really. Mostly cloudy and 37. We'll climb into the low 50s by lunchtime, so we've got that going for us. Remember, average highs are in the mid to upper 40s. So pick up our timeline at noon today because nothing to show you this morning. We'll see those rain chances start to just a few spotty showers throughout the day. 3 o'clock today. Again, a lot of kids not heading off to school today. Maybe they'll go tomorrow. Who knows, right? But as we get past sundown, that's when the heaviest rain is really going to set up shop and work on it. Now, it's going to be a warm day, so the big thaw of 2024 continues. The melting will continue. We top out in the 50s and 60s, so that's good news because we'll get back to some normalcy. But getting into the evening hours, 56 by 5 for the evening rush hour. Heavy rain as we get into the 7 and 9 o'clock tonight, and temperatures hovering in the low to mid 50s. We'll continue our future cast, talk about your 3-day forecast. That's coming up in just about 5 minutes or so. All right, so remember I said the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for East Tennessee. It does include the Southern Valley, not the North and Northeastern Valley, but subject to change. And as the National Weather Service changes this, we'll pass that information along to you. So the timeline, 7 o'clock tonight. Here comes the heavy rain after sundown. It's going to be a soaker tonight while we're sleeping. That's going to make for some tough travel early tomorrow morning as we're going to have the heavy rain with us as we wake up early in the morning. Now, not maybe nearly as heavy as it's going to be as we get into 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, but still some very soggy conditions just through sunrise. Many areas, upper East Tennessee, probably about a third to nearly a half an inch of rain, half an inch to over an inch to maybe even 2 inches down across the Southern Valley. And that's why we do have that flood watch in effect across the Southern Valley. They're likely to get a lot more rain down across the Southern Valley. But low temperatures tonight, look at this. It's going to be mild. We're going to be in the 50s. That's above our average high temperatures for this time of the year. Heading to the day on Thursday, we're going to continue to see a few spotty showers for the first part of the day. And then we'll track in more rounds of rain as we get into our Thursday night and Friday. So more rain on the way. By the end of the day on Thursday, we're going to add to those rainfall totals. And so many of us by tomorrow night will pick up anywhere from nearly an inch to over 2 inches again across the Southern Valley. So again, just to recap, the Southern Valley will get the heaviest rainfall. That's why the flood watch is in effect there, but subject to change for the rest of East Tennessee. High temperatures on Thursday, well above average by nearly 15 to 20 degrees. We're going to be in the mid to upper 60s again, average highs in the mid to upper 40s. We'll stay in the 60s on into our Friday. Warm again Saturday, falling temperatures Sunday, and more seasonable weather returning to East Tennessee Monday and Tuesday. I'll show you what that looks like with the big picture weather pattern and your extended 7-day temperature trend. That's coming up in just a few minutes. I'll be right back. To recap those weather headlines, we're talking about a flood threat to increase around East Tennessee as we head through the rest of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Where remember, the National Weather Service has issued flood watches for the southern valley of East Tennessee. Got a big fetch of moisture with the upper level pattern. A lot of Gulf moisture coming on into the area. So today's risk for flooding will be across the Tennessee Valley down into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and even into West Texas. That's going to be the trend again tomorrow, and we'll continue to hang on to that flood threat as we head through the day on into our Friday. So let's pick up our timeline. 7 o'clock this morning, here comes the rain. It's going to be settling its way across the entire state and the region, so keep that in mind if you have travel plans. We'll stop the clock as we get into our Thursday evening, and you'll see how those rain showers are going to continue to ramp up around the area. Then the cold front comes through, and that's going to usher in more showers and a few pockets of thunderstorms. Can't be ruled out, but no severe weather threat. Getting into the weekend, Saturday morning, we're going to be tracking in more rain throughout the day on Saturday, and then back behind that low pressure system, we'll get some wraparound snow showers. Light snow showers expected across the highest peaks of the Smokies as it stands right now. But look at the rainfall that we're expected. This is just through the day today, the next 24 hours. And you can really see how the rain's going to ramp up around the region. Tomorrow, we'll continue to see more rain. As we get into our Friday, a little bit of a lull in around the southeastern U.S. Heaviest rain on Friday will be across the deep south anyways, from Montgomery, Alabama to Atlanta and Macon, Georgia. And then that kind of ramps back up as we get into our Saturday. Saturday into Sunday, the storm system starts to exit, and by Monday, it's a thing of the past. But rainfall totals through this entire event are going to be anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe pockets of 4 to 5 inches of rainfall across the southeastern U.S. So big time rain and the potential for some flooding. Big time temperatures all the way up past the average high temps for this time of the year. Average highs are in the mid to upper 40s. We'll be nearly 20 degrees above average as we get through the day on Thursday. Low 60s Friday, Saturday. And then more seasonable temperatures head our way Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Low temperatures are going to be warm as well above the average low temperature of 30. I will drop back to those seasonal averages as we get into our Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time frame. We'll kind of wrap this up into a nice little bow, bring it back down to the local level. That's coming up in just a few minutes.